Coming up on Naperville News 17, a vote without the mayor after a question of conflicting interests. The first March for Our Lives chapter started by junior high students. And 3 cheers for Grace, a triple medalist at the Special Olympics World Games. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. Mayor Steve Chirico and other city council members addressed a story linking his business to a project he supported as mayor. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski has the full story.
The most recent Naperville City Council meeting saw Mayor Steve Chirico recuse himself from a vote concerning Central Park Place, the new condo development on the Old Nichols Library site.
I do not have a direct conflict of interest on this, but there is a potential conflict with one of their customers, and so I will go ahead and recuse this.
The issue arose after a story by CBS Chicago claimed his family business, Great Western Flooring, had a financial tie to the development. The property owner, Dwight Avram, contracted Empire Today to do the floors of the 17-unit project, but the condo buyers are free to use a different vendor. One client approached Great Western Flooring for a quote on a specialty product not offered by Empire. Avram added that he's never done business with Great Western Flooring. Chirico called the issue a political stunt orchestrated by those who oppose his mayoral campaign, particularly those who resisted the Bauer Place development.
They were quite angry that we approved that, formed a couple of anonymous websites to oppose really the entire council, but particularly my campaign. And so I see a couple of members here today. I'll say good evening to you. And so this was simply a political stunt.
When CBS Chicago initially approached Chirico on the issue, he said he had no financial ties to the project. He later said he wasn't aware of the client who asked for a quote from his business, as he is no longer involved in the day-to-day running of the company. This led to some calling his integrity into question.
Mayor Steve Chirico has gone on record 3 times, and this is what bothers me about all of these stories. He has changed his story 3 or 4 times. He said he would not financially benefit. But what does the public see? Those who live in Naperville and those beyond it. All of us up here on the dais right now stand for good governance, truth, and transparency. But sometimes I wonder about our mayor.
Anderson then asked staff to create more comprehensive terms on what constitutes a conflict of interest, a sentiment echoed by the entire council, including Chirico.
At what level of even an indirect conflict of interest? Because everybody on the dais here works in this community. And so everybody in some way could have an indirect conflict. And I guess I want to ask the question of Mr. DeSanto to please explain that. How far does it go before we have to connect the dots to where nobody on the dais can vote again?
After Chirico recused himself, the Central Park Place project was approved by the rest of the dais 8-0. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
City Attorney Michael DeSanto said he did not feel the mayor's recusal was necessary. In other council news, it looks like downtown Naperville is going to the dogs this summer. Naperville City Council unanimously approved this year's Downtown Summer Sculpture Program at their most recent meeting, and the theme is the Dog Days of Summer. Rough designs from the Downtown Naperville Alliance show 3 different styles of dogs represented. The sculptures will be on display in 20 different locations from June until mid-September. A Naperville councilman held a public discussion about diversity and inclusion in Naperville. Our own Christian Canazal was there to give us an inside look.
Naperville's councilman Benny White hosted a Neighbor to Neighbor, a diversity conversation discussion in Naperville's Municipal Center. A panel of 6, each from different backgrounds, opened up about struggles they face in their personal lives. Sadia Covert talked about the look she gets when she's in public with her son.
The youngest one, who's 2 years old, it's hilarious because when we go out to the store together, I get stares. I have jet black hair, and he has beach blonde hair and gray eyes.
The public discussion comes after State Representative Ansaba Murray, who represents parts of Naperville within her district, saying in a Facebook post that Naperville has a, quote, history of white supremacist policies.
White mentioned he had previous plans of having the public discussion, but noted Sava Murray's comments accelerated the timeline.
After that, there was a lot of conversations being, taking place, a lot of stuff on social media, and, I looked at it and said, we need to move this up.
Regina Bent, one of the panelists, was pleased to see the diversity in the room.
We had the Sikhs here, we had Muslim here, blacks, whites, Jews, we had females, males, LGBT. We had all those people who encompasses one grand diversity community. That is Naperville, that's who we are.
A presentation by Naperville Settlements, Donna Sack, gave a historic look at the struggles blacks faced in the 1900s. Sack explained it was nearly impossible for blacks to own a house before the anti-discrimination housing law was passed in Naperville in 1968. After the presentation, community members had the opportunity to express some of their concerns and share stories about discrimination they've encountered.
My son had gone through a lot of the whole, you're a terrorist. My son was I actually was told by my neighbor that I was a terrorist too.
Markel Oliver, one of the youngest people in the room, said he would like to see more of his peers at these discussions.
For us to be not just at the table, but including those conversations are important for us to prosper and cultivate actual real change that is going to help positively affect infrastructure moving forward.
White said the community took the first step to coming together as one.
As we create that dialogue, we can understand each other a little bit better, okay? Which in the end will build trust for our community.
Reporting from City Hall for Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
White says he hopes to have another discussion next month and will have a new panel for the next event. After the break, the mayor is on board with the state of the city.
Shop downtown Naperville this spring with over 100 shops from national favorites to one-of-a-kind boutiques, plus over 50 restaurants and health and beauty options too. Downtown Naperville is the premier shopping destination in the western suburbs. And don't forget about Downtown Naperville gift cards. They make a perfect gift for every occasion. Come shop, dine, stay, and have fun in downtown Naperville.
Stay up to date on what's happening in our neighborhoods and schools at City Hall and all across town with NCTV 17 News Update. Emailed directly to your inbox once a day, Monday through Friday, this 2-minute video not only tells you the latest news, but shows it to you, all at your fingertips.
And that's what's happening right here in Naperville.
And the best part, it's free. So sign up today at nctv17.com/subscribe.
Mayor Steve Cherico's State of the City address highlighted many of Naperville's successes and what's ahead, all in the theme of a family game night. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena was on board for the event.
The accomplishments of 2018 and what's to come in 2019. It was all discussed at the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce's 29th Annual State of the City Address, presented by Mayor Steve Cherico. This year's speech was framed in the style of Monopoly.
Being mayor of now the 4th largest city in Illinois, it's no game, but the spirit of a well-played game, friendly competition, vision, and strategy does apply to how we run our city.
And running strong is the city's economy.
Outside of Chicago, Naperville now has the largest economy in the state of Illinois. People spent $405 million on dining over the last year and over $3 billion shopping in Naperville.
The mayor also recognized the steps City Council has taken toward being financially responsible to taxpayers.
And guess what? Today, we have the lowest municipal tax rate that Naperville has seen in the past 50 years.
But the most exciting announcements lay in development. The mayor revealed that the long vacant Dominic's on Route 59 and 95th Street will become LA Fitness, while a boutique grocer will also join the strip.
A good indication of a well-governed and a well-managed city is whether you have more people moving in than you have moving out. And in a state where the population is shrinking, Naperville is still a destination city.
Also going strong are our fire and police departments. Their efforts landed Naperville as the safest city in America last year. And to stay true to that title, the city is implementing new 911 technology in 2019 called Next Generation 911.
Once in place, people can make video calls or even text to 911. Police and fire are also working together to address the rising number of mental health calls. That means creating a joint crisis intervention team to provide appropriate response and care for these situations.
Reflecting on our past successes and upcoming progress makes the address a valuable moment for Naperville.
We're really fortunate to have 600 people attend this event because it just shows the importance of an event like this and the impact that the information has. People walk away more educated, knowledgeable, and really excited about the community that they live in.
A community whose story is moving forward in the game in 2019.
In games, you can't be the only participant. And there are so many people and participants in the Naperville story. There are no winners or losers when we work together.
Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
The full 2019 State of the City address can be found on nctv17.com on our community events page. A new low-density subdivision is coming to town. The Planning and Zoning Commission recently approved the annexation and rezoning of an over 4.5-acre vacant property. It sits on the corner of Book Road and Hassert Boulevard, just north of the Zion Evangelical Lutheran Church. McNaughton Development, Inc. looks to bring a low-density, single-family subdivision to the spot, which will include 10 age-restricted homes. Last May, the commission saw the same petition for the subdivision, but with 8 homes instead of 10, and they weren't age-restricted.
The builders looked at the market and saw a very real need for empty nester type of product with first-floor master suites, ranch home designs, also, more importantly, a smaller footprint, less square footage.
Slated as the enclave on Book, the subdivision's home sizes will range between 2,500 to 3,200 square feet. A 50-foot buffer will separate the surrounding river run property lines to the back of the new homes.
I think the previous plan was unanimously approved, I think, by this commission, and this one, as far as I see, it's an improvement upon the previous plan.
The target price for the homes are $750,000. The proposal now goes to City Council. A group of Washington Junior High students are taking initiative to keep their schools safe. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski has their story.
1.2 million people took part in the first March for Our Lives event on March 24th, 2018. Almost a year later, Naperville has its own chapter of the organization, led by middle schoolers.
I'm 14, so 8th grade at the junior high across the street. It's definitely a shocker to a lot of people when they hear that at first. But I mean, everyone's like, you're starting off young, it's good, and it's been very successful, and it's awesome starting out young, getting involved.
Peyton, along with his friends and co-founders, are the first March for Our Lives chapter founded by junior high students. They joined the national organization, which was founded in the wake of the Parkland school shooting last year.
Our goal basically is just to raise awareness about gun violence in the community, and so we basically follow the same guidelines as the National Foundation and stuff, but it's on a more localized level, so we want to educate the community and kind of get them more active.
Though none of them said they've been personally affected by gun violence, Peyton said it's something that stays in the back of their minds.
When I see these mass shootings, especially occurring in a school, it could be me. And so it's just awful to think about, but it could be me. So I'm like, this should not be happening. We deserve to feel safe in schools. It's supposed to be a learning environment, and you just can't learn when that's going through your head.
The group's first meeting was on March 18th at the DuPage Children's Museum, where Peyton has been volunteering for 3 years.
I think what's really important is that the museum is really designed to help support children to think for themselves and to come up with ideas and problem solve. And to see a group mobilize like this at such a young age is, I just think, something that we as adults have to really get behind and support.
About 50 people attended the first meeting, where Peyton announced the group had officially received a grant from the National March for Our Lives organization. They'll use that money to put together a march that they're hoping to schedule for late April or early May. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Peyton says he's been in touch with survivors from the Parkland shooting for help in starting his chapter. Coming up, scoring a scholarship has given this student something to sing about.
What's the matter, boy? What are you trying to tell me? Is something wrong?
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something.
Naperville Animal Crime Stoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report a case of animal cruelty and neglect.
Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves.
Taxpayers living in District 203 are getting a nice tax break. The District 203 Board abated the 2018 debt service levy and approved an additional abatement from the 2018 tax extension at their latest meeting. The levy was abated by $2.7 million, which is the principal and interest payments on bonds that were issued in 2009. The extension was reduced by $2 million. That's significant as 85% of district revenue comes from property taxes.
I think this is an opportunity that we've had, though we've had many years of working to control our costs. We have not had as many opportunities to pass that on in our general levy. We have certainly done our debt abatements and we did our debt payback, but this is something that will translate some of those efforts to be more efficient and spend wisely to a savings that our taxpayers will actually see.
With both abatements, tax bills for an average district homeowner's $410,000 home will reduce by $126. Reducing the aggregate levy will affect subsequent years, meaning the district will have a lower starting point to calculate future levies.
I'm very proud to be a part of this historic reduction. As I understand, it's the first time it's been done in the history of District 203. And I'd like to congratulate all my fellow board members for taking this action.
New leadership is coming to several District 204 schools. Neuqua Valley, Scullin Middle School, and Kendall Elementary will each have new principals next year. Lance Fuhrer, who's been the assistant principal at Neuqua for 13 years, will be promoted to principal. Bob McBride, the Wildcats' current principal, moves on to become the superintendent at Lockport Township High School, District 205. Scott Luridge, the assistant principal at Scullin, will take over principal duties at the middle school this fall. Current principal Leslie Mitchell will become the new principal at Gregory Middle School. And finally, Bria Jerger will be the new principal at Kendall, as Lena Guerreri is set to retire after this school year. The three new principals thank the board and say they are excited for the opportunity. A special scholarship was awarded to a talented young vocalist. Naperville Central senior Bianca Schramm is graduating on a high note, as she's the recipient of the 5th annual John Pierce Performing Arts Scholarship.
Began in 4th grade, and it's been the biggest passion of my life, and it's what I enjoy waking up in the morning for. So when I heard about the scholarship, I thought it was a great opportunity. Even as a sophomore, I knew that it was something I wanted to do when I was a senior. The $1,000 scholarship was established to honor former music chair and teacher John Pierce.
He was our choir director for 22 years. It was his career here at Naperville Central, and he was the department chair as well, and was a prolific teacher. He was very influential, so we wanted to have a living memory of him through this scholarship.
The award was funded by the Naperville Education Foundation. With her scholarship in hand, Bianca hopes to pursue a dual degree in creative writing and vocal performance in college this fall. A Naperville Boy Scout organized hundreds of volunteers to complete his Eagle Scout project. Matthew Kashuba and 200 friends gathered at St. Margaret Mary Church to stuff backpacks with daily essentials like clothes, toiletries, first aid supplies, and crafts to donate to homeless veterans.
I had 2 grandparents who were both veterans, so I just kind of connected to me on that level, and then I thought it'd be good to give back.
Kashuba said he was inspired by an organization called Backpacks for Life, which puts on similar events. The Catholic Order of Foresters was also a big help with donations and volunteers.
We do events like this called Feeding God's Children events all over the country. And in this particular instance, one of our executives, Greg Temple, his wife Shelly Temple is very involved with these events, and so she put us in touch with the Boy Scout who is hosting this event. And then with the Backpacks for Life and the veterans that it's supporting, that's something that we love to help out with.
The group ended up filling 138 backpacks for the Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans in Wheaton. Youth volunteers from area elementary, junior high, and high schools joined in to help the cause. Up next, meet Ski Flash, a sensation on the slopes and the Special Olympics.
Decision 2019. Watch NCTV 17 for exclusive live election coverage. Get real-time results of the local races that directly impact our community. Join us on air, online, and on social media April 2nd after the polls close.
Medici Neapolitan Pizza has created the magic of an Italian piazza right in downtown Naperville. Choose from the freshest ingredients available, and all their sauces are prepared on site. Enjoy salads with dressings made from scratch, to shareable plates that celebrate the flavors of Italy, to the pizza of your dreams. From the olive tree in the center of the restaurant to the imported Italian wood-fired oven, if you want a more authentic Italian experience, you need a passport.
It's from her mom. I love it.
So why does 27-year-old Lane Cudmore like to ski?
Speak. This man.
With her Flash action figure in hand, Lane gets herself ready for our interview. She is a star after all, a silver medalist, topping nearly all of the competition in the slalom at the Special Olympics. So is she a fan of the fastest superhero of them all?
Yes, and also a ski pants with this one.
She relates with the Flash so much, she takes on that persona on the ski hill, and her speedy origins rooted in her family.
It was really easy because she had two sisters that were role models, and she wanted to do it.
The Cudmores are skiers, just like Keith's family was growing up. So there was little doubt Lane would follow suit, that is, of course, in her bright red suit. And when she triumphed, bowing her head to accept the silver medal, her family was proud of their superhero member.
Very proud. Seeing her ski on the snow, I knew she did really well. She did what was right for her. We didn't know how she placed until awards were ready. And so it was really surprising to see that, she really beat those other three guys that beat her the year before.
Part of Lane's success is due to her time spent inside the Kraler YMCA, with her personal trainer, Becky Melsa, having a direct hand in getting her ready for Ski Flash adventures.
We would get her ready for her big races, and that was kind of our whole relationship, and that relationship with Lane has become a lot stronger and more of a friendship than a personal trainer to member relationship.
For the Cudmores, the relationship with the YMCA has been a positive one, allowing Lane to grow and achieve her goals in a nurturing environment.
We've been participating in special needs athlete training here for probably 8 years and interacting with them. Becky's been here 5 or 6 of those years. It's just a great, wholesome place to be connected in Naperville.
We'll do a CrossFit workout. We like stability balls, and we do some free weights. So we keep our legs moving, we keep our heart strong, and we kind of talk about how excited we are for race day and getting our legs ready and nice and strong to help her get all the way down the hill.
And not only has Lane found success on the slopes, she's also becoming independent, with no need for a Robin to her Batman.
She gets here to the Y and back by herself. And she's very independent, and she does a lot of different activities too. She has a very busy schedule.
Skiing, and skiing fast, appear to be the favorite items on Lane's schedule, and it's no surprise, at least not for the Cudmores.
Skiing is a good glue that kind of stick us together.
Super glue. for a superhero skier. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Kevin Jackman.
If you have a sports story worth featuring, let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. Congratulations are in order for Napervillian Grace Seabolt. The 22-year-old recently won 3 medals in the Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi. Her brother Chris shared video of her taking home the gold medal in the 100-meter freestyle and the silver medal in the 50-meter freestyle. She also took silver in the 100-meter freestyle relay. Grace is the only competitor on Team USA from Illinois. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website, nctv17.com, for daily updates.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.